Gentlemen, continuing our Women's History Month series, it is my privilege to introduce you to Laurie Dozier. She is a Fisheries Management Specialist in the VMRC Fisheries Division. Laurie, please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you did before you came to VMRC, when you came to VMRC, etc.
Okay, well, I am a native of Hampton Roads. I grew up, born and raised in Norfolk. Grew up going to the Eastern Shore a lot. I have a lot of friends there. So I've been really familiar all my life with the Chesapeake Bay and all of its critters. It's very close to my heart, and the people who work in it too. So that's just kind of my background, where I'm coming from. And then always knew I was interested in that. So I went off to school. Went to Mary Washington, University of Mary Washington, not Mary Washington College anymore, in Fredericksburg. Got a degree in biology, and then I ended up interning for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, again, still in Virginia. I love my state, so I worked for, first for the Eastern Shore National Wildlife Refuge at the very southernmost tip of the Eastern Shore of Virginia, and then I worked as an intern up at Chincoteague National Wildlife Refuge up at the most northern part of the Virginia Eastern Shore at the Maryland-Virginia line.
And what did you, in each of those experiences, what did you do?
There I mostly did a lot of field work. They're very concerned about the wild bird, migratory bird populations, such as the piping plovers and the terns, American oyster catchers. So we worked a lot. I worked primarily with that, but then just other functions on the refuge as well that needed to be done. Like at Chincoteague, we certainly got to be a little involved with the ponies even, so that was fun.
That's important. Okay, so how'd you come to VMRC?
Well, I was looking for a permanent full-time position. Those were just seasonal positions, and I saw on our state website that VMRC was hiring a fisheries management technician. Well, I read the description. I was like, oh, I know about commercial fishing gear in general. I know, this and that. So I said, well, I'm going to apply for that. And it's, back in Hampton Roads where my family is. So I said, okay. So I applied, got the job, and worked as a technician 2 years in the mandatory reporting program, and then ended up being able to apply for a specialist position. And I've been a specialist 3 years. So that's been since 2010.
Okay, mandatory reporting, harvest reports. Tell us, whoops, sorry, that was my fault, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us about those, please.
Well, all the commercial fishermen that are registered in the state of Virginia have to report for each month what they harvested in that month. That is due the 5th of the following month. So, for example, this month is March. So people are out starting, crab season just started. That's kind of exciting. And so those reports are not going to be due to VMRC until April 5th. So around April 5th, that's technically what's in the regulation.
Okay, you've got some examples there.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah. So the commercial fishermen get issued, their license fees help pay for their reporting supplies. So they get issued folders like this. This one is an old folder, and that's why I'm using it. The newer ones don't have the map. They just have the reporting symbol in the middle. Mm-hmm. But it's this folder like this. It opens up. It has a slot on the inside where they put their forms. They fold it back over. They put tape on the open ends, pop it in the mail. It's already got postage paid. And then it comes to us, we open it up, and we take out the reports, and we process them. Now, their report papers, the report forms, look kind of like this. So it's actually quite detailed that our commercial fishermen fill out. It's kind of important to get all this information for the state to make good decisions on what we have of the wild populations. So kind of think of it as like the best witness for a crime scene is the first-hand witness, or the best historical witness is the first-hand person that was there. So in our case, that's going to be the commercial fishermen. They were using the gear. They were fishing for that harvest, so they're going to know these answers the best. We have two forms. We have for all other commercial harvest, and then we have a form just for people who work on privately owned lease bottoms of the state to grow oysters and clams. These are oysters and clams that they planted and are growing that were not there naturally. They've put them on the bottom and are cultivating them.
Okay.
All right.
Now, these reports, does everybody get them in on time, and what happens if they don't?
That is a good question. So, you know, human nature, sometimes people tend to procrastinate a little. So, yes, sometimes people are late. We have little, actually have some old ones here. I don't want you to zoom in because they've got people's names on them. But
Okay.
we have little postcards that go out to remind people, hey, we haven't heard from you for this month. You know, if it's no activity, call us and let us know that, or, you know, send in your report. So there's a first notice that goes out. They look just like that. There's a second notice that goes out. They look almost the same. They just say this is your second notice. They're about 2 to 3 weeks apart from each other when they go out. And then about 2 to 3 weeks after the second notice, if we still haven't got a report, we have to send a certified letter. That's a legal thing. We need that person to actually recognize from us that we're notifying them. They sign for it, and then that comes back to us to let us know that they did get the message. And then generally that makes its way to them, because sometimes, you know, the postcards get lost in the mail or what have you. So that's why we have the 3-step process. There's actually 3 notices in case something like that happens.
Right.
And then normally people get it resolved by then, and that's when they call. I'll talk to them, some of the other staff will talk to them, and we'll work out like what's going on, if they need help, or if they need some extra time, you know, they can work with us on it, and normally it gets taken care of. Unfortunately, sometimes if that isn't resolved, if it's not taken care of, we'll still try to call. We'll still try to give the harvester a call then. If we can't reach the person, then unfortunately sometimes our only last course of action the commission has is to send an invitation by a law enforcement officer to come to the commission and
An
meet the
invitation.
commission.
That's a nice
Yeah.
way to put it. An invitation.
We try to prevent that at all costs, you know, but sometimes it's just how it ends up being. But that's really not that often for failure to report.
Well, that's good, because it is. It's very important. Okay, tell us, what is it that you like most about working here at VMRC?
I think what I like most, and it's funny because I used to be a very shy person, is like working with the public. I think one of my favorite things here is talking to the fishermen and fisherwomen on the phone and at the counter, and just getting to go also to some events that we do, like the state fair. That's been some of my highlights of working here.
Well, that is tremendous. Well, Laurie, I really appreciate your participating in the Women's History Month program, and look forward to seeing you around VMRC. Thank you.